Okay, so when we speak of the power of the legislative branch to enact laws, the question is this absolute or not? The answer is no, it is not absolute. Because although the 1987 Constitution has given them the power to enact laws, they are also limited to the following circumstances, the following guidance. Okay, so what are these? First, they must enact laws and must be general in application. Second, it must not partake of the nature of an ex post facto law. Third, it must not partake of the nature of a bill of attainder. And lastly, it must not impose cruel and unusual punishment or excessive fines. Now first, we go to general in application. So what do you mean by that? When the Congress enact laws, the scope of that law as to the application must be general. So, if the Congress says that this new law is applicable to a particular group of people, say for example, anti-VAUSI law or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children law. Now, the scope says that it is applicable to all women, sa lahat ng mga babae. Kasama na rin ang kanilang mga anak. So when you say women, here in the Philippines, we only recognize two genders, which are male and female. So when you say women, it refers to female. So regardless of the preferences of that woman, so kahit feel niya or kahit nagdadamit panlalaki siya, but still, the anti-violence against women and their children is still applicable to him or to her. Okay, so although lesbian siya, sabihin na natin, nagdadamit lalaki, and she is a victim of abuse. And so, pwede siyang makapag-file ng case against the abuser gamit ang anti-VAUSI law. Okay, so yun ang ibig sabihin ng general in application. So, dapat walang pinipili. Kahit anong estado sa buhay, mayaman, mahirap, kahit anong estado sa edukasyon. So, ang Congress natin kapag gagawa sila ng batas, they make sure that this law should apply to all and does not only limit to particular persons or particular group, and it does not discriminate. Of course, it's a different story kapag ang isang batas ay ginawa lang for a particular scope. So, yun yung example kanina na anti-violence against women and their children. So, the scope is only for the women and sa mga anak nila. Now, kailan mo malalaman na general in application siya? Because it entails that this law should apply to all women regardless of the race or the sexual preferences of a woman, including their children. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng general in application. Now, let's go to the fourth limitation based on the notes that I have given. So, punta muna tayo sa ika-apat. Mamaya na tayo sa pangalawa at sa pangatlo. Okay? So, sa pang-apat, sinasabi dito, the law must not impose cruel and unusual punishment or excessive fines. Now, when you say impose cruel, it means physical suffering. So, pagdurusa. Okay? So, it is a kind of like torture. Okay? So, hindi daw pwedeng gumawa ng batas ang Congress na kung saan ang isang krimen ay may karapatang parusa or may corresponding punishment na karumal-dumal or cruel. Okay? So, yung sobrang pagpapahirap sa isang akusado. Physical suffering ang ibig sabihin ng cruel. Okay? So, say for example, convicted ka sa crime of, example, rape, and then including sa penalty ng imprisonment, merong ginawa ang Congress na batas amending the existing rape law at sinasabi nila na dadagdagan yung imprisonment, yung penalty ng imprisonment, dadagdagan nila ng punishment na dapat yung akusado in every year of his anniversary being a convicted person, every year ipapaalala sa kanya ang kasalanang nagawa niya. And so, para maalala niya, tinotorture siya for like 5 hours, nilalatigo o kaya tinotorture ng kahit anong mga pasakit sa katawan. Okay, so every year gagawin yan hanggang sa matapos ang imprisonment niya. Okay, so that's an example of cruelty. So again, bawal at hindi pwede yan. So that is another limitation of the Congress na kahit sila yung may kapangyarihang gumawa ng batas, it doesn't mean that anything that they want or think is good, so gagawin nilang batas, but hindi nila susundan ang mga limitasyon. So, dapat in every law that they enact, they must conform to the limitations provided under our Constitution. So, bawal ang cruel or physical suffering, yung sobrang punishment sa isang akusado or isang convicted person. Sinasabi rin na it must not impose unusual punishment or excessive fines. So, when you say unusual punishment or excessive fines, yun bang mga parusa na hindi naman common or hindi siya usual na ginagawa. Meron ding mga parusa na nagbibigay ng fines or penalties, okay, monetary penalties. So, dapat may multa ka. Pero, nilagyan ng Congress ng excessive or sobra-sobrang multa. Under the law, may dalawang klaseng punishment na binibigay. It's either imprisonment or fines, diba? So, sabi dito sa limitations on the power of Congress to enact penal laws, dapat daw hindi siya unusual punishment or excessive fines. So, example, sa kasong rape, okay, so, di ba may imprisonment? The maximum imprisonment is reclusion perpetua. Tapos gumawa ng bagong batas ang Congress na nag-a-amend sa existing rape law. Sinasabing, in addition to the imprisonment, dapat yung mga convicted persons sa kasong rape is mandated, as a punishment, mandated to convert into, say for example, INC or Iglesia ni Cristo. Okay? So, this is just an example ha. Now, it is a very unusual punishment kasi the imprisonment or fines are enough, but bakit kailangan pang may kakaibang punishment? It also violates the right of a person to religion, di ba? Now, sa excessive fines naman, isipin nyo, yung sobra-sobra or hindi na siya fair, and it is injustice to pay or magbigay ng multa or fines sa isang act or violation sa batas. So, say for example, sabihin natin sa traffic violations, okay? So, under the law, it is allowed na magkaroon or papatawan ng fines ang taong naka-violate ng traffic, okay? It is allowed. Ang hindi pwede is that papatawan ka ng excessive or sobra-sobrang multa or fines na hindi na siya corresponding to the graveness, okay? Yung violation na nagawa mo is just, say for example, a light felony or light violation, pero yung corresponding penalty niya is very excessive, na para bang ang ginawa mo is super grave. So, it is not allowed under the Constitution because the Congress may enact laws but in accordance with the limitations under the Constitution. Okay? So, yun ang ibig sabihin.